Hey there. As you probably know, unless you've been living under a rock somewhere, live webinars are the hottest trend right now in internet marketing. It is by far the train that everybody is jumping on as of lately. Let me explain to you why that is. You see, there are a number of ways to promote and sell products online. You can either drive traffic directly to a sales page, hoping to dazzle them enough to place an order right away. But statistics say that the standard conversion rates are between 0.5% and 2%, depending on how compelling your offer is. That means that up to 98% of your traffic leaves your sales page without ever converting into a paying customer. Yuck. You can also drive traffic to a squeeze page, where your visitors join your mailing list, and from there, you send them a series of emails promoting your product. But guess what? Most of us receive so many emails nowadays that we don't even read them anymore. Chances are that our mailing list subscribers might not even be opening the emails at all. Double yuck. You can also conduct one of those super fancy product launches with flashy videos and cool gimmicks, trying to build anticipation towards the grand opening on launch day. But guess what? The market is fed up with product launches. They've seen them 100 times before, and they just don't fall for the hype and the marketing tricks anymore. Triple yuck. So what to do? Well, if you've been paying close attention to the online industry as of lately, you will notice that most of the world's top internet marketers are selling their products now via webinar presentations. Webinars are just great because they allow you to broadcast your marketing message directly to a live audience. And as a result, 2-digit sales conversion rates are not unheard of. Oh baby, yup. Webinars are blowing anything else out of the water when it comes to getting your prospects to swing their credit cards. However, there are 4 major problems with webinars. Firstly, since they're a live event, you need to be actually online to host the webinar, and that takes a lot of time and effort at your end. Moreover, there are tons of technical issues that can just go wrong. Poor connectivity, low sound volume, the screen freezing all the time, etc. Trust me, if you've never conducted a live webinar, you have no idea how many things can just go wrong once you're broadcasting live. Also, you've got to speak in front of a live audience. And that can get pretty scary because you have to perfectly craft your webinar script, the pace of your speech, etc. Oh God, imagine if your mind totally blocks out while you're broadcasting in front of hundreds of people. That would be embarrassing. And let's not forget that webinars can get expensive, easily going up to $500 per month if you plan on conducting multiple sessions and whatnot. Jeez. But fear not. Big problems require big solutions. And that's precisely what I've got for you today. Introducing Automated Webinar Generator. So what does it do? Well, in a nutshell, the script picks any video that you have previously recorded in advance and presents it to a live audience in such a way that it looks as if it were broadcast live in real time. Think about it for a second. You record your webinar presentation once, and then you schedule an unlimited number of webinars to play the same video over and over to new attendees. And it does it in such a way that it runs on autopilot, so you don't even need to be online at the time of the webinar at all, and no one will notice that they are in fact watching a pre-recorded video instead of a live broadcast. Alright, let's go step by step, shall we? Give me a few minutes and I will show you how the whole thing works. First of all, like I said before, you've got to record your video in advance, and that video can be a standard PowerPoint presentation or a webcam clip or whatever you want. That part is entirely up to you. But the point is that you can do it and redo it until your video presentation is mint perfect. No audio glitches, no mistakes, no awkward silent moments, etc. In other words, you just get rid of all the risks involved in an actual live webinar. So, once you have that perfect video recorded, it's time to configure the automated webinar generator so it automates the whole process for you. Alright? Let me now show you the software's configuration dashboard so you have an idea of just how powerful it is. Scheduling your webinar. You can configure the webinar to play your video every day or on one specific date in the calendar or one specific day in the week or multiple plays through the week. Let's assume that I want my webinars to play every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Moreover, let's say that I want to run multiple sessions per day in order to cater to visitors from any time zone in the world. So, I will run 3 daily sessions, once at 9 a.m., then again at 3 p.m., and finally once more at 9 p.m. By the way, we can base those schedules around one specific time zone, such as, for example, New York time. Or, on the other hand, we can base it around your visitor's own time zone. That way, no matter where in the world the visitor is located, be it New York, London, Singapore, etc., the webinars will play exactly at 9 a.m., 3 p.m., and 9 p.m. their local time. On top of that, we can block out some specific dates in the calendar, such as, for example, the 4th of July, Christmas Day, or New Year's Eve. That way, the whole thing will look more realistic, because nobody would conduct a real live webinar on Christmas Day, right? Plus, let's say that for whatever reason, you don't want your visitors to register on short notice. You can block out the next X number of upcoming days. For example, let's imagine that we block out the next 2 days, all right? And then somebody lands on your webinar registration page on a Tuesday. Now, in theory, the first available webinar would be tomorrow, Wednesday, right? But since we've blocked the next 2 days, the registration page will display the first available seat for Saturday. So, as you can see, all these options allow you to pinpoint your webinar schedule exactly the way you want. The webinar registration page. The script has a super easy to use point-and-click template system for your webinar registration page. You can choose from different designs. This is the vertical. We have created a number of gorgeous built-in templates, so you can pick whichever you like the best with the click of the mouse. You can select the template and the color pattern. And let me show you some examples of what these built-in templates look like. They all look beautiful, don't they? On top of that, you can select a number of colors so you can totally customize the look and feel of your registration pages with the click of a mouse. Simply select whichever color fits your needs. Now, as far as the header goes, you can either type in a header line and a subheader line, which will be displayed at the top of your registration page, or alternatively, if you want to give it an extra touch of customization, you can embed your own logo. Looks cool, eh? For the rest of the registration page, all you would need to do is fill out these fields, such as typing in your desired header line, uploading any image or video you wish, typing in a few description lines, and that's pretty much it, really. But that's not all. If you want to create your own unique design from scratch, all you have to do is copy your HTML design and paste it into this box, and the webinar registration page will look just the way you want it. That's correct. If you want to keep things simple, simply use any of our gorgeous built-in template designs, and if you feel creative, simply toss in your own HTML design. As you can see, the level of customization and flexibility is amazing. We're also 100% compatible with Facebook, so you can advertise your webinar straight from your own Facebook page. That's correct. You can configure your webinar to be embedded straight into your Facebook account for anyone to register. Hey, Facebook is one of the most powerful sources of viral traffic on the internet, and our software will help you funnel that traffic straight to your webinars. Now, the split testing feature. You know what? Sometimes you don't know which design is best for your webinar registration page. In fact, sometimes you need to test different designs until you figure out which one scores a higher registration rate. Well, we've built in a split testing feature so that you can rotate multiple different designs and the script will rotate them evenly. For example, let's imagine I want to rotate 2 different designs, okay? Well, I would simply fill out the configuration fields for my webinar registration page number 1, and then I would do the same for my webinar registration page number 2. And then the real-time tracking analytics systems will tell me which of the 2 designs works best. And don't worry, I will tell you all about the built-in tracking system in a minute. The SMS alerts feature. Oh, and guess what? You can also allow your visitors to be reminded via SMS a few minutes before the webinar kicks off. You know, just as a reminder that the event is about to get going and that they should log in right away. These SMS text messages can be sent worldwide, no matter where in the world your registrants are located, and that way no one will miss or forget about your webinars. And needless to say, you can enable or disable the SMS alert feature from the configuration dashboard. On top of that, you can enable the phone call alerts. It works pretty much like the SMS alert, but instead of a text message, your visitors will receive an actual phone call with whatever voice message you pre-record. Simply enter your pre-recorded MP3 audio file here, and the system will literally call your registrants on the phone a few minutes before the webinar's scheduled time and play that pre-recorded audio message through the phone line. Ah, technology. Such a beautiful thing, eh? The registration thank you page. So, what happens when your users register to your webinar? Well, they're redirected to the registration thank you page, which we've already created for you, so you don't have to design it at all. Yep, we've got you covered. This thank you page will play a built-in video explaining to your visitors how to proceed from here. It will instruct them at what time the webinar will take place. It will remind them to write down the actual webinar time and date, and it will remind them that they can synchronize their Google Calendar, their Outlook Express calendar, or Apple's iCalendar so they're reminded of the event. On top of that, they can promote your video via the social media sites such as Facebook and Twitter in order to get the word out for you. Like I said before, all this is already built in by default, so you don't have to do anything at all. Remember when I said this is a set and forget system? Well, it truly is. And here comes the best. We've built in a viral referrer script into this thank you page. This is how it works. Here you offer your visitors a cool hidden bonus, such as, for example, a video or a PDF report or whatever you want to offer them. The trick is that if they want to unlock that bonus, they must refer their friends back to your webinar, further boosting your viral traffic. So, in order to unlock that free bonus, they need to either send an email to their friends or post an entry on their Facebook page or tweet about your webinar via Twitter. And once they do that, the referring script will automatically display your bonus video or your bonus download link or whatever it is. Is there any better way to get traffic to your webinar than by letting your subscribers automatically promote it to their friends for you? Nope, no better way. But if for whatever reason you want to design your own thank you page, simply enter your own HTML design here at the dashboard, the countdown page. In the registration thank you page, your registrants will be given their own personal and unique link to the webinar live broadcast room. But what happens if they visit that link before the scheduled time? Well, here's what happens. A countdown will be displayed, ticking away as the scheduled time draws near. Moreover, they will be greeted with a video explaining that the webinar room is not yet active and they need to wait for the countdown to reach 0. And yes, you guessed it, this video is already built in, so you don't have to do a thing. But hey, if you want to display your own video, that's okay too. At the webinar configuration dashboard, you can replace the default video with your own. And by the way, you can host your own videos anywhere you wish, such as your own server, Amazon S3, or even YouTube. Simply copy the URL of the YouTube video and paste it here. Easy, huh? The email notification system. Let me rewind back to the webinar registration page. As you know by now, your visitors secure their seats to the webinar by selecting their desired date and time at the registration box. The box automatically displays the next 3 available dates as per your scheduled configuration. On top of that, they must enter their name and email address, and if you enabled the SMS alert feature, they can also key in their cell phone in order to receive the text message reminder. Anyway, so what happens when a visitor enters his name and email address here? Well, 2 things happen. Firstly, they're signed up to your own mailing list. Yes, that means that the webinar script will also help you grow your own mailing list. All you have to do is copy the HTML code straight from your autoresponder company and paste it into the configuration dashboard. And the script is compatible with all the major autoresponder services, such as Aweber, iContact, GetResponse, Infusionsoft, One Shopping Cart, MailChimp, Vertical Response, etc. Secondly, the script will automatically register that user to the built-in notification system. This notification system sends email reminders before the webinar's scheduled time in order to make sure that your users don't forget about the event they signed up for. At the configuration dashboard, you can preset as many emails as you wish. For example, let's say you pre-configure 4 emails. The first one being a welcome email to be sent out immediately as they register to the webinar. Then another one to be sent out 24 hours before the webinar's scheduled time. And then another one 3 hours before the webinar's scheduled time. And finally, another email to be sent out 15 minutes before the webinar. Obviously, you need to write the subject line and message for each of the emails. For example, on the first email, meaning the welcome email, alright, you can say something like this. Hey there, thanks for registering to the following webinar. And then you have webinar topic, webinar presenter, webinar date and time. Don't worry, 15 minutes before the webinar starts, you will receive another email with your unique link to the login page. So keep an eye on your emails. See you at the webinar. Okay, now see these command lines over here? These are shortcuts to dynamically insert the webinar scheduled date, time, the webinar presenter's name, the webinar topic, etc. You can simply copy these command lines from here and paste them anywhere within the email message, and the script will automatically recognize these command lines, and it will dynamically switch each of them with the appropriate info as per your configuration. For this second email, sent out 24 hours before the webinar scheduled time, you could write something like, hey there, just a quick message to remind you that tomorrow, blah blah blah, at exactly yada yada yada, you're invited to the webinar Joe so-and-so will be conducting on whatever your webinar is about. Don't miss it. It's going to be awesome. And in this last notification email sent 15 minutes prior to the webinar, it's always a good idea to include the link to the actual webinar broadcast room so your registrants can go ahead and log into the room. See how it works? Queuing up your own notification emails couldn't be any easier. And the webinar script will be sending them out automatically for you. You don't have to email anyone. You don't have to do a thing other than writing the email messages in advance. Like I said, this is a 100% set and forget script that runs it all on autopilot. But that's not all. The emails are also HTML enabled, so you can make them look pretty by inserting images, colorful fonts, or whatever you want. You can even enter your own HTML design here. Plus, as usual, we wanted to provide you with a gorgeous built-in HTML template so you can simply activate it into your email messages. You simply activate the HTML email template, then edit the message body, and this is what the email will look like in your subscribers' eyes. And fear not, all these fields, such as the webinar, time and date, etc., will be dynamically and automatically adjusted for each of your subscribers. It looks awesome, doesn't it? And it's all built in for you to activate with the click of a mouse. And by the way, at the configuration dashboard, you can select to use only the built-in notification system, or to only sign up your visitors to your mailing list, or to do both, which is what we certainly recommend. The live webinar broadcast page. So, let's assume we finally reach the date and time scheduled for the webinar. So, your users receive that last notification email 15 minutes before the webinar kicks off, and they click on that link. As I said before, if they click too early, they will see the countdown page, and eventually, as the countdown ticks to 0, they will be redirected to the webinar live broadcast page. The video will automatically start streaming, and the whole event will get started. Now, there's plenty of stuff going on in this page, so let's go step by step, shall we? First, the video window. Here's where your pre-recorded video will play at the appointed dates and times. The video has no control bar, so it cannot be paused, even if I click on it. It cannot be forwarded or rewinded or anything at all, so the webinar attendees cannot interact with the video at all, just like they wouldn't on a live webinar event. It will just play from the beginning to end without interruption. Now here's an important feature. If they arrive late to this webinar broadcast room, or even if they refresh their internet browser, the video will not start all over from the beginning. That would totally kill the live effect, right? So if they do arrive late, or if they do refresh their internet browser, the video will automatically jump ahead and start playing midway through, like if they were joining a live event that has already started. Sneaky, huh? Like I said before, it's all about making the whole thing look absolutely real. Alright, here on the side we can find the attendee list. At the top you can find the webinar presenter's name with this blinking broadcasting icon. And below a number of names which are supposed to be the webinar registrants. Now, you're probably wondering, so where do all these names come from? And what if only a handful of people register for my webinar? Won't that look kind of sad? Worry not, my friend. As usual, we have you covered. The attendee list. At the configuration dashboard, you can enable the attendee list advanced options. You can select to use only real names, meaning to display only the names from real people who've actually registered to your webinar, or you can use only simulated names, and the script will pick up the names from this random name list under here. Or you can blend both real and simulated names. And here's how it works. Let's imagine that you want to stage a webinar aiming for around 100 people. However, let's assume that only 10 real people sign up for it. In this case, you can get the script to display the names for those 10 real people at the top of the attendee list, and then from the 11th position all the way to 100, the script will fill up the attendee list with simulated names. This feature is intended to guarantee the social proof factor of your webinar, in case there are fewer real attendees than you had expected. But of course, if you don't feel comfortable with that, you can always go for the real names only option. Please note that you will only need the simulated names for your first few webinars. After a while, you will have enough names from actual registered real people recorded on your webinar's database, and our system will begin grabbing those real names in order to fill the entire attendee list. By the way, you can also select the nationality of those simulated names in case you're targeting a local niche: English, Spanish, French, Arab, Asian, etc. If you're targeting an international crowd, simply go for Mix. And of course, you can also disable the attendee list altogether if you don't want it to be displayed on your webinar broadcast room at all. You can also define whether you want the attendee list to display male or female names only, in case you're targeting a very specific niche, or you can have them mixed. Plus, you can select whether you want it to display the name and surname or just the name. By the way, in order to make the whole thing look truly real, when the webinar gets started, the attendee list builds up progressively as if all the registrants were logging in a natural manner. You see that? You see how the list populates progressively? Oh, and each of the real attendees will find their own name at the top of the attendee list. So they indeed see their name there, making the experience more involving. Anyway, let's move on. Down here, there's the chat box, where your attendees can submit their questions at any time through the webinar. Now you have two options here. If you want to make it a 100% set and forget webinar, meaning that you don't want to be online for your webinars at all, you can simply have all incoming questions being redirected to your email address, and that way you can reply to your attendees at your own convenience. On the other hand, if you want to bring up the reality factor to a whole new level, you can embed an actual live chat, so that you as the webinar administrator will be sitting online answering and interacting with your attendees in real time through the live chat box. So while your pre-recorded video is going on with the webinar presentation, you're answering in real time all the questions being typed in by your subscribers. We have also included a live chat simulation feature, so that your live chat box displays whatever lines of chat you want at whatever specific time through the webinar you specify. This will make the webinar event look very much alive and kicking, with real attendees participating in the event. Here's how you configure it. In the dashboard, select the live chat option and enable the delayed chat lines feature. Then simply enter, one by one, the different lines of text you want to pre-schedule. Type in any made-up random name, enter your desired line of text, and then at what second exactly through the video you want this line of text to appear. This is super useful because you can pre-configure a perfectly timed question and answer session at whichever specific time you wish through your webinar video. For example, let's say that at minute 20 and 15 seconds in your webinar video, you disclose the price of your product. Let's say, for example, $197. Well, you could, for example, have a delayed chat line go off at minute 20 and 20 seconds saying, "Can I pay through PayPal?" And you could set the corresponding answer to go off a few seconds later at minute 20 and let's say 25 seconds, saying, "Yeah, sure, we accept both credit card and PayPal payments." Now, since this answer should be coming from the webinar presenter or administrator, you want to type admin or host or something like that in here, and then mark it as admin's comment so it appears in red font in the chat line. Here's another example of how to use the delayed chat line feature. At the beginning of your webinar video, you would probably want to welcome everyone on board and to thank them for attending to the webinar event, right? Well, you can schedule a few lines to go off during those initial seconds to create a warm feeling among your audience. Moreover, you can enter random chat lines to go off at random moments through the webinar video, like, this is very interesting, or cool tips, thanks for sharing, etc. And that will turn your static webinar into a lively event that will encourage real attendees to participate themselves in the chat too. Do you see now why this is the ultimate internet marketing tool to present, pitch, and sell your products online? As usual, it's at the configuration dashboard where you select which of the options you want to go for. Alright, It's now time to talk about one of the best features of the automated webinar generator software, the delayed buttons feature. You can instruct the script to pop in and out any button, link, or message of your choice under the video window at any specific time through the video. For example, let's imagine that at minute 8 and 15 seconds through the video, you are talking about one particular report. Well, you can instruct the script to pop in a download now button under the video at that exact moment. So your attendees can download that report too. And moreover, let's say that you start promoting and pitching your product at minute 23 and 40 seconds through the video. Well, guess what? You can pop in an add to cart button precisely from minute 23 and 40 seconds onward. So your attendees can go ahead and place their order. Setting up these delayed events couldn't be any easier, really. Let me set up a dummy sample for you. Here at the configuration dashboard, I'm going to go for just one delayed button, but as you can see, you can configure any number of them. So I'm going to have this button to pop in at minute 0 and 10 seconds through the video. And I'm going to have it disappear at minute 0 and 15 seconds. That means that the button will only be visible for 5 seconds, right? The text above the button will be, "Buy my product for only $97. Let me make that look pretty. Just 1 second. Okay. The message on the button will be "Add to cart." You can preview the default buttons down here. Plus, you can also upload your own button design if you wish. And the link to the video would be www.mywebsite.com/my-sales-page HTML. Alright, so let me show you what that would look like. So, I visit that webinar, and as the countdown ticks to 0, I am automatically redirected to the webinar live broadcast room, and now in a few seconds the button should pop in. There it is, and now it fades out. See? Wasn't that totally super simple to configure? Yes, sir, it was. Okay, let me now show you another cool feature you can implement here at the webinar live broadcast room, the polls feature. Just like the delayed buttons, you can configure delayed polls so you can interact with your audience. Let me go back to the configuration dashboard, remove the delayed button, and set up a test poll so you guys see it in action. And by the way, you can set up multiple delayed buttons and multiple delayed polls together, no problem. But for the purposes of this presentation, I just want to keep things simple. So let's imagine I'm preparing a webinar on how to lose weight, okay? You know, that's just an example. So I'm going to go for just one poll. The poll title will be Weight Loss Poll 1. And the actual question will be, have you ever lost weight using aggressive diets? And I'm going to allow 3 possible voting options. Yes, I have. No, I haven't. And I don't do diets. Now, please mind that these are all pre-recorded events, so the script doesn't actually register your attendees' votes. Instead, you are to predefine your desired outcome for each poll option. So I'm going to assign a 10% to this one, a 65% to this one, and a 25% to this one. Now, obviously, you've got to make sure that they all add up to 100%. Now, let's instruct the script. When do we want the poll to pop in? We want the questions to appear at minute 0 and 10 seconds through the video. And we want them to disappear at minute 0 and 20 seconds through the video. That means that we're giving our subscribers 10 seconds to vote. Obviously, you want to give more time, but this is just a demo test for you. Now, as far as the actual poll outcome goes, we want them to appear at minute 0 and 30 seconds. And we want them to finally disappear at minute 0 and 40 seconds. All right, let's see what that looks like, shall we? So, the live webinar room loads up, and the poll questions will appear soon. There it is. So I cast my vote, and soon this window will pop out. And there it goes. And now the poll outcome should pop in soon. There it is, with my predefined outcome for each option. And there it disappears, just as I wanted. Cool, eh? I'm telling you, if used wisely, polls can become a very powerful marketing tool at your disposal. That being said, please remember that polls should be used ethically, and therefore you should only broadcast poll outcomes that are based on actual researched figures. You can get actual figures from conducting a live poll with services such as surveymonkey.com or polldaddy.com, and asking people on Facebook or your mailing list to participate. And by the way, just like with the webinar registration pages, you can split test the webinar live broadcast room too. For example, you could rotate 2 different versions, both of them with the same settings as far as the attendee list and the chat box, etc., but playing 2 different webinar videos. Assign 1 video to each version, and you can track which video generates more sales for you at the end of the webinar. And that way, you can tweak and retweak your webinars into a non-stop, money-making, automated machine. The webinar replay page. Now, all these features of the webinar live broadcast page are all cool and dandy, but what happens if someone misses your webinar altogether? What happens if someone does register to your webinar, but he just can't drop by because of an emergency call, or a late evening shift at the office, or because he just totally forgot, or because he was simply well, fear not, because guess what? Da-da-da! We've got you covered once again. Remember the built-in notification system? Well, you can also queue up some emails after the webinar's scheduled time. For example, let's say you schedule the following email to be sent out 6 hours after the webinar. Subject line: Hey, did you miss it? Email copy: Hey there, don't tell me you missed the webinar Joe so-and-so has just conducted on blah blah blah. Boy, oh boy, what a shame, because it was awesome. No worries though, we've recorded it for you. Here you can watch the recorded video. Please make sure not to miss it the second time around. Now, this command line, which as usual, all you have to do is pick it up from here, copy it, and paste it down here, will take your subscribers to the webinar replay page, which is a pretty simple page with a standard video player on it, no attendee list, no chat box, etc., just the video and the delayed buttons. Now please note that this page is not meant to look like a live event, but like an actual video, alright? So that's exactly what we give them. And just like with all the other pages, you don't have to create a thing. The software automatically creates this webinar replay page for you too. Now, on top of that, you can select to send these post-webinar emails to all registrants, or only to those who missed the webinar, or those who attended the webinar but missed your product, or those who visited your product but didn't purchase, or those who did purchase the product. You can totally customize your email notifications as you wish. Sweet. Now, you're probably wondering how the software knows who actually did attend the webinar or who purchased your product, etc. Don't worry. I will tell you all about the built-in tracking system in a minute. Affiliate customization. The webinar allows you to configure the webinar experience on an affiliate-by-affiliate basis. That means that if you so wish, your webinar will dynamically customize itself depending on which affiliate is driving each respective visitor. For example, this is a standard webinar registration page with the built-in webinar presentation box displaying the webinar topic, webinar presenter's name, webinar photo, etc. Well, let's say Joe Smith is an affiliate of yours and he's driving traffic to your registration page. The script will automatically embed Joe's picture and introduce him as the webinar host. And do you know why this is a good thing? Because it usually increases subscription rates. Think about it for a second. If someone is in Joe's mailing list, chances are that he will also like to subscribe to any webinar where Joe is personally involved, right? Obviously, every visitor will see a different photo and name depending on which affiliate drove him to the registration page. All this happens dynamically and on autopilot, so you don't have to edit anything at all from your webinar pages. The script will dynamically adjust these fields by itself. But that's not all. How about if we let the affiliate record a short webinar introduction video? Welcoming his own subscribers to the webinar before the actual event takes place. This is how it works. Let's imagine one of Joe's prospects lands on your webinar broadcast room. And moreover, let's imagine Joe has prepared his own introduction video to welcome his own prospects. Well, Joe's intro video will play before your webinar video starts. And once Joe's video ends, your webinar video will automatically and seamlessly kick in and the whole event will take place. And believe me if I say that your prospects do appreciate that introduction, and that can easily increase sales. And just like before, the script will display a different intro video depending on who is the affiliate driving each individual prospect before giving way to your webinar video. And don't worry, the built-in tracking script knows which affiliate is driving each individual visitor to your webinar. The more you help your affiliates in customizing the webinar experience and bringing in more sales, the happier they will be to promote for you. They are happy, you are happy, we are happy, we are all happy. Oh, and if there's someone who doesn't come referred by any affiliate or by an affiliate who hasn't created any intro video, then the webinar video will simply play from the start without playing any other intro video at all. Publishing your webinar. Okay, now once you've gone through the configuration dashboard, you can preview your webinar registration page and your webinar live broadcast room to confirm that everything looks good. And if so, it's time to publish your webinar online. There are two options here. You can either host the webinar script and the webinar pages on your own server, or you can host them on our server. Let me explain both options. If you select Host it in our server, upon clicking on the Generate Files button, the process will be finished. The dashboard will automatically create and upload the files to our server, and it will give you the links to each of the pages so you can start driving traffic to the beginning of the process, meaning the webinar registration page. The system will start registering your subscribers. It will begin sending out the email notifications, the SMS alerts, and the rest of it 100% on autopilot. At this point, the only thing you have to worry about is to feed the webinar registration page with traffic. That's all. On the other hand, if you decide to host the webinar on your server, upon clicking on the Generate Files button, the system will not only give you the links like before, but on top of that, it will generate a zip file, which you are to download to your computer, for example, to your desktop. and you simply uncompress that zip file, and as a result you will get a folder called Webinar, and that is the folder you're to upload to your server. Once that's done, well, congratulations, we're done. By the way, that folder you upload to your server contains absolutely all the HTML and PHP files for the webinar. So if you're a programmer yourself or know someone who is, you can recode and reprogram the webinar upside down to introduce any change you wish. You can change the design, you can translate it to another language, or you can even implement new features altogether. So remember, you will have full control over all the files. So you can either upload them to your server as they are by default, or you can tweak them as you wish and then upload them to your server. So if you're a programming wizard, feel free to implement a little bit of magic on your own. And just like before, at this point, all you have to do is send traffic to your webinar registration page, which is now uploaded, hosted, and ready on your own server. Pretty simple, isn't it? And yep, just like before, the software will register your subscribers, send out the email notifications, the SMS alerts, etc., totally on autopilot. So you could be out at your favorite cafe, sipping a cappuccino, while the script runs your webinars hands-free. Oh, and before I forget, you can configure, generate, and upload as many webinars as you wish. You can even run them all simultaneously if you want, either hosting them under one single domain or under multiple domains. That's entirely up to you. There's no limit whatsoever. Do you want to run one single webinar promoting one single product? Sure, that's okay. Do you want instead to run a complex multi-webinar sales funnel promoting multiple products at once? No problem at all. On top of that, you can also use the software to create pay-per-view webinars, meaning webinars you actually charge your customers for. All you have to do is set the webinar registration page as the thank you page in your payment system, meaning the page your customers are automatically redirected to upon completing the payment process. That way, only paying customers will be able to register to your webinars. Cool, eh? Now you can create an actual money-making product out of your automated webinars. Sweet. No matter how far you push your webinars, the automated webinar generator will back you up all the way. In fact, under the My Webinars tab at the dashboard, you will be able to see all your webinars simultaneously, so you can preview them, edit them, duplicate them, get the links to each of them, and what's more important, view the tracking analytics for each of them. The tracking analytics. So, I guess it's now time to talk at last about the built-in tracking system. Yep, we have one of those too. Now, first of all, let me say that you can paste your own tracking code by simply inserting Google Analytics or any other tracker of your choice into the configuration dashboard. On top of that, the software has its own built-in tracking system, which will analyze absolutely every single statistic you need to know. We will get to that in a minute, but let me just tell you that you can drive your traffic to the webinar registration page by using a custom link with some tracking variables attached to it so that the tracking script can grab and analyze all the data. Now, this is a sample of the type of link to use to drive your traffic to the webinar registration page. Do you see this tracking ID 1 and tracking ID 2 variables? You can change that, for example, as follows. Let's say you're driving traffic to the webinar registration page by placing banners on your blog. Okay? So, for tracking ID 1, we could put banners. And then for tracking ID 2, we can put header if we're placing a banner on the header of our blog, or sidebar if we're placing a banner on the sidebar, etc. You can obviously create as many links as you wish by modifying these parameters. Here's another example. Let's imagine you're driving traffic using pay-per-click campaigns. So, tracking ID 1 could be, for example, AdWords, and the tracking ID 2 could be keyword 1, keyword 2, etc. You get the idea. And then at the Analytics tab of the dashboard, you will see all the stats branched by webinar, and then by tracking ID 1, and then by tracking ID 2. That way, you can see where your traffic is coming from and what's generating registrations, webinar views, sales, earnings per click, and all that lovely stuff. Down here, you can also see the stats for your split tests. So you can see which version of the webinar registration page and of the webinar live broadcast page is scoring the highest registration rates, the highest revenue, etc. Again, the idea is to be able to determine what's working and therefore to tweak your webinars into perfection over time so you can create the ultimate money-making machine. Pretty cool, isn't it? But that's not all. Your affiliates can also embed their own affiliate variable in order to create their own custom link. For example, let's imagine you're selling your product through ClickBank, okay? Well, your affiliates will be able to insert their ClickBank affiliate ID here. Firstly, the script will automatically insert the ClickBank affiliate cookie into their visitor's internet browser, so your affiliates do indeed get credited with their affiliate commission. And on top of that, you will be able to see in your analytics dashboard which affiliates are driving traffic, registrations, and sales to your business. So you will know which of your affiliates are doing a good job and which ones are slacking. So, I repeat, you don't have to give a ClickBank official hop link to your affiliates if you don't want. Simply give them the software's custom link and tell them to add their ClickBank affiliate ID here, and the software will do the rest automatically in the background. Oh, and the script is not only compatible with ClickBank, it also works with all the major affiliate networks such as Plymouth, One Shopping Cart, Infusionsoft, Post Affiliate Pro, Pay.com, even CPA networks, etc. Our custom link system integrates with any affiliate network out there. The script has a super strong affiliate tracking system. Traditionally, with less sophisticated softwares, if someone clicks on an affiliate link from his computer, but then he buys from his iPad or from his Office desktop, the affiliate would not be credited with the commission. Not anymore. We've built in the revolutionary redundancy tracking system, which recognizes if a registrant is now using a different computer, and if so, it automatically inserts the affiliate cookie once again. That way, your affiliates can sleep at night knowing that each and every single sale they generate will be credited to their account no matter what. Let's talk now about the heat map tracking console. It will show you at what point through the webinar event your visitors are abandoning the webinar broadcast room, so you know what parts of your webinar video you might want to record again. For example, if you see a spike in dropouts around halfway through the video, around the 50% mark, you'll know that you might want to spice up that part of the video to keep your attendees engaged. On the other hand, if the dropout rates are high at the beginning of the event, then you know you're probably wasting too much time at the webinar introduction, and therefore you should speed it up and move faster onto the beefy part of your presentation. And finally, if they leave your webinar by the end of the presentation, then don't change a thing. Your video is already pretty good since it's keeping them engaged all the way through. Good job! The heat map analytics will help you in improving your webinar videos to perfection, knowing what parts to change and what parts to leave alone. Let's wrap it all up. It's about time to wrap up this presentation, shall we? So let's review how the webinar process flow works. Firstly, you need to pre-record your webinar video presentation. Then, you need to configure the dashboard as per your desired parameters. Then, you are to publish the webinar online, either on our servers or on your own. And finally, get the webinar custom link and start driving traffic to the webinar registration page. From that point on, your job is finished. You can literally forget about it. because hereafter it will run all by itself. As your visitors register to the webinar, the script will subscribe them to your own mailing list, to the built-in notification system, and to the SMS alerts if they opt for it. Immediately after, they will be redirected to the registration thank you page, where the default video will show them how to proceed from there, and they will gain access to your cool free bonus if they refer their friends back to the registration page, bringing in further more and more traffic. From that point on, the built-in notification system will kick in, sending those email reminders as the webinar date and time draws near. Eventually, they will be sent a final email with the link to log into the webinar live broadcast room. If enabled, they will also receive an SMS alert. If they log in too early, they will land on the countdown page. And from there, as the countdown ticks to 0, they will be automatically redirected to the webinar live broadcast room. And there, your pre-recorded video will start streaming, the attendee list will populate, and the delayed buttons and polls will kick in at the appointed time through the video. After the webinar, the notification system will send an email to those who missed the webinar so they can watch the recorded version at the webinar replay page. Your subscribers will be visiting your sales page both from the webinar broadcast room and from the webinar replay page, and hopefully they will be buying your product. And from there, finally, you can simply check your tracking stats at the analytics dashboard. Analyze them in detail, see what has worked and what hasn't, retweak and reconfigure the webinar at the configuration dashboard once again to get the whole process started over and over and over again. Seriously, do you see the power here? Do you see how incredibly powerful the automated webinar generator software is, and how it can automate and leverage your webinars to bring your internet business to a whole new level? So, what are you waiting for? Secure your copy today, start creating those webinars, and let's make some serious cash online, shall we? Trust me, the world's savviest internet marketers are already doing it, and you don't want to miss this train, do you? Thanks for watching.